Hey everybody, I'm Tasha with the Major Change Group. What's up? How are y'all doing today? I am so excited about this live stream because today we're going to talk about, can you have too many credit cards? And if you are considering closing credit cards, what are some of the things that you would consider? Now I have a special guest today. So I got Key from Kiki Adventures. Y'all, how she had 80 credit cards. Now she got 50 credit cards. And then the other day on her live stream, her and Josh had talked about canceling some of her credit cards. And then she's going to end up canceling over $2,000 in annual fees. Plus, she canceled credit cards that don't have an annual fee. So we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to bring on Key from Kiki Adventures.
Good
What up, Key?
What up? I got it right here.
Oh my gosh, Key.
What's remaining? I'm trying to get these into one book. That is the goal.
So first off, I'm just so excited for you to come on the channel because I've been wanting you to come on the channel. But then we was able to meet in September, when we did the content creator meetup. And so I was just like, that was really good. And so I was like, I had to have you on the channel. And so I'm so glad that we were able to take some time out today. Because listen, Key, the other day when you had Josh on your channel and y'all were going through your credit cards, I thought that was so cool. And I'm like, we might have to do that for my 14 credit cards. And then y'all had ended up talking about closing. I think it was maybe 6, but it totaled maybe like over $2,000 in annual fees. And I'm just like, oh my God. Because I'm like, you already know I don't really like no annual fees, but like you got over 50 credit cards, but then you close 6 with over 2,000. So let's get into it. So before we get started, Key, tell us a little bit about how you ended up with 80 credit cards and then down to 50.
Yeah. It happened. It kind of feels like overnight, but since 2016, I've been collecting this credit cards and really just maturing on my personal finance journey. It really started with, I was required to travel for work and I was allowed to use my personal credit card and to submit an expense report. Okay. So that's how I really got into some of the more talked about credit cards like the American Express Platinum card, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, is because it just made sense to have those cards if someone was paying for my travel anyways. Now, getting 80 cards, that took some time. But honestly, now I'm just trying to see how many credit cards I can get before people start telling me no. So there's no reason why you need 80 credit cards. In my opinion, the simpler, the better. But like I said, I'm on this quest until somebody tells me I can't have any more.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So I want to give a shout out. We got a few people in the chat. So I want to give a shout out to Vincent, Luis, and Joe. What up, Joe? How are you doing? Like we were the 3 amigos, but really 4, even with his sister and then Sledge and everybody. So Joe, thank you so much for joining and everybody else. But Key, now let me ask you this. Especially because that's pretty cool that one, you were able to expense it, but then use your personal credit card. So you were really racking up on the points.
Yeah. At one point, for real, I think in 2019 or 2020, I had a little over 1 million American Express membership reward points.
So you was up there with Joe because he had over 1 million.
That's right. That's right.
Whoa. Yeah. And then Points Blank Travel, he have over 1 million. Look, man, my points be putting a hole in my pocket and it be burning. I'm just like, I gotta spend them points. So I don't be sitting on my points for too long.
I hear you. It really does add up though. So I was doing that work travel, like I said, and I have the goal of traveling a trip per month. That's been my goal for the past couple years. COVID put like a little damper on that, obviously. And that's where I was able to kind of save up some of these miles. But it's not always about the sign-up bonuses. I know we're going to talk about ways to kind of get into that.
Key, now you gotta pull that back.
Okay.
So to me, it's all about the sign-up bonuses. Like, if I'm applying for a credit card, it has to have a good bonus because see, the thing is for me, especially with American Express. So my first American Express card that I got didn't have an annual fee. and it was the American Express everyday credit card. But I really wanted to get in the ecosystem of American Express. But I'm telling you, I wasn't thinking about applying for the American Express Gold Card because with that $250 annual fee, but they was getting on me like, Tasha, come on, what are you talking about? You know? And so when it had that 90,000 membership reward points, I was like, okay, I can do this. So like for me, when I apply for credit cards, I'm all for the points. But if you're saying it's not for the points, what else is it about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other benefits that come with cards. I absolutely agree with you. The sign-up bonus is one major crucial point of that, right? I know that there's some people that get cards and they forget about getting the sign-up bonus. So make sure.
How?
I know, but make sure, life happens. You just think you hit it and you didn't hit it, or you're counting things. You may have returned something. That's crazy. But make sure you hit the sign-up bonus. After that, we should only be getting credit cards that make sense for our life, right? Maybe like if you only stay at Hilton hotels, right? Or you love staying at Hilton hotels, maybe your work or like just you like doing that. Maybe it makes sense to get something like a Hilton Surpass and put all your credit card spending on, or all your spending on that credit card. Or for me, I really like the Wells Fargo autograph card. For me, that fits just about everything I need to do, from my internet to my cell phone to, dining out and whatever. That really works for me. So when I'm not hitting a sign-up bonus, you better believe I'm racking up probably, in the 20,000 points range just on that card alone, because it's pretty much 3x on everything.
Okay. I want to give out a shout out to Slash. What up, Slash, in the building? Mr. No Umbrella in the building. Y'all, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's been raining all day, so I really need an umbrella. And then Joe said the autograph is fire. I don't have that card because that's through Wells Fargo, correct? Okay. I don't have any Wells Fargo credit cards. Now, let me ask you this, especially with having 80 credit cards, obviously you had to have a good credit limit. I mean, not credit limit, credit score. Tell us about your credit journey.
I started my credit journey because I wasn't able to get my first auto lease without a cosigner. So that's how I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me I got to go around begging my family to add them as a cosigner, all because I've never had credit before.
Okay, because so you had no credit. So you had no credit and you weren't able to get a auto loan, and so you had to get cosigner.
Right. And this was a $99 lease. Like, I don't know if leases are like that anymore, but they wouldn't even let me borrow $100 a month by myself. Damn. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
Look, I want to give a shout out to my mama. She joined the chat. What up, mama? Thank you so much for joining.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, mama.
So, okay. Wow. Now, look, you were able to do a cosigner.
Yep. Okay. And that's the only time I've ever needed one. Thank goodness my brother hooked me up with co-signing on that car. But after that, I was like, okay, it's time. I'm just going to get a credit card. And it happened to be the Capital one. It's a Quicksilver card now. I don't know what it was back in the day. It definitely wasn't that before. Okay. And that's how I started my journey.
So wow, so you went from no credit to needing a cosigner to 80 credit cards. And so your first credit card was the Capital One Quicksilver. So then on average, how many credit cards were you opening up, really a month to have 80 credit cards?
Yeah. It started off at a slow pace. So after I graduated college, that's when I really started to ramp up. So I was probably getting 8 cards roughly a year at minimum. And again, it's because of my travel. I was able to put the travel on my card and get reimbursed. Sometimes when you're going to, Asia or Europe, those tickets are like $1,000 or more than that, right? So sometimes that's one sign-up bonus right there. So I was able to kind of get those at a rapid clip.
All right, I want to give a shout out to Joe with a $5 super chat. Shout out, big shout out to your beautiful mom. Yes, I really appreciate my mom for joining. That's my homie right there. Oh my goodness. So you got the Quicksilver first, and then, you were opening up 8 credit cards. Now, when you started opening up all those credit cards, how long did it take for your credit score to really, start to, get higher?
Yeah. I don't remember what my original credit score was. I don't think you start at 0. I definitely just don't remember. I wasn't using Credit Karma and all that back in the day. But I would say It took me a good year and a half of having on-time payments reporting from that car lease. And then even though I had the Capital One card, I wasn't using it. Like I'd use it like just to buy my books for that semester and then like not use it. You know what I mean? So those still reported on-time payments, little to my knowledge, right? I didn't know anything about it. And I think I probably was approaching 700 like by the time I graduated college, which is, starting from whatever you start at. That's pretty good.
No, that's good, especially to have a 700 credit score. So let me ask you this, especially this is a great question. Now, especially with you applying for all those credit cards, do you prefer to get approved or do you want to have a high credit limit, or does it matter?
Right now, it doesn't matter. At the beginning, though, I really liked having as large of a limit as possible because I didn't think I was going to get 80, right? I thought I was kind of going to stop at like 5 cards, 10 cards. But here we are now where my utilization is not really affected, right? They say to spend less than 10% of your utilization or have that report. I have over close to $400,000 of credit history.
Okay, Key, I see you. Right. So you already know it's going to be hard to get 1% utilization on that.
Exactly right. And me and anybody watching this, set up as soon as the card comes in the mail, the automatic payment from your debit or your checking account. That has to be the move.
I'm not agreeing with you on that. I don't know, Key. I don't know.
Why? No. You be having all that in your brain? You got 14 cards.
Well, and that was weird. We're going to get there because that was going to be one of my questions, because I'm just like, on the one hand, you had 80, so you got 50 credit cards. How in the world are you managing, okay, I got to pay this card or that card and, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I have my digital budget planner, and in my digital budget planner, it has like a piece in there for the credit cards. And so I just manage it that way. But see, on the same hand, even though I have 14 credit cards, I'm not using all 14, and you already know I'm not carrying all 14 of them credit cards.
You already know I'm not carrying. I got one card in my wallet, right? One card on the back of my phone.
I got 2 credit cards in my purse right now, so I'm not carrying all those credit cards around. So in the chat, y'all, let me know, how many credit cards do you carry around every day? That's just hilarious. So I'm gonna shout out to Sledge when he carrying all his credit card, his back pocket. So
my back hurting right now. Just think about it. Let me see your answer, Sledge. My back hurting already. I'm holding my back.
So funny. That is so funny. But I'm just like, wow, to have 50 credit cards, and then you're saying to do auto draft. Now this is the thing. I do think that having an auto draft on there is good, because in a sense you have to have good financial discipline, one, to want to have your to have the auto pay on there. Because I'm just like, on the one hand, I don't want nobody taking money out of my account. I have an auto draft on my Comcast, and I have auto draft on my State Farm. But one is on a credit card, and then one is on my checking account. So those are the only 2 things that I'm letting auto draft, out of my, because 50 cards and they taking the money out of my account. I'm just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. But similar to you though, Tasha. I don't use all my cards every month, or not even every couple months. Instead, what I do, because I don't want my cards to automatically close. I had that happen early on in my career. I'm not trying to have that happen again.
Now tell us about that. What happened? What happened with that?
I needed clothes right after, right? I worked in a professional setting, so I couldn't rock my college sweatpants. I played college sports, can't rock that to the office. So I went into one of my favorite retail stores, and how they get you at the counter, like if you sign up, you get 30% off or whatever. So I got one of those cards just because I was gonna, purchase those clothes anyways. And I never used the card ever again. So in 2020, I think during COVID, because I was getting my credit report. I think you were able to get it.
Yeah, you can get it every month then.
Okay. Yeah. So I was getting it, just keeping track of everything. And I was like, dang, my card fell off for this thing. So I called the number on the back, and they're like, who are you? Hello? They didn't know who I was. So
wow. Yeah. That I've actually had 2 credit cards to close, and I want to say it was in 2021.
Okay.
And maybe, I think early part 2021 and then latter part of 2021, both of them Bank of America credit cards. And see, the thing is, because like with every credit card that you have, I don't use each credit card the same. So you might you'll have your credit cards for your everyday spending, your travel. But then I had one credit, the Bank of America credit cards. Usually I would use that for things around the house. And so, it was paid off, and I probably didn't use that card for maybe like 6 months or something like that. And then they closed the card. So I was very upset. But I will say, I want to say when I was applying for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, and I had two other Chase cards, and they had actually kind of denied me, but then reconsidered me without me doing a reconsideration, stating that I had low usage on my Chase. I want to say my Chase Southwest card, and I had the Chase ISG Premier at the time. So once that happened, I was just like, man, I got to do a better job of rotating the card so that I could get a spin, because those two Bank of America cards I had those cards for over 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to lose that, the length of time that I had for the credit cards, because that's what 15% of your credit score. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, I was pretty upset with that. But especially, with you having now 50 cards, but you have closed 6. Do you consider the length of your time that you had those credit cards? Do you consider that when you're closing credit cards?
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely consider it. I've made the determination, my first 10 credit cards that I ever received, I'm never going to cancel.
Whoa.
Anything after 10 is I'm ready to cancel. I'm not attached to those cards at all. What do you think about that? Think that's crazy?
I'll say, because I had two Bank of America cards, and then I had a Citi. And look, that Citi card, it done been through so many names, but I want to say it's the Citi thank you card, thank you rewards right now. So I definitely can see not closing a card, maybe 10 years, or, at least if it's 10 years or higher, I would not probably close that card. But I used to be one to where I would close a card, especially if I hadn't had it a year and it had the annual fee on there, and I'm like, the annual fee coming up, and I already done got my, and I got the bonus on it, and I'm not really using it as much, I'll consider closing it. Or, if I'm just not using it, because it's like right now with me having the 14 credit cards, I'm actually really kind of considering closing some of those cards, because right now I have the American Express, Hilton, Honor, Surpass, and even though, all that went on with them, I'm trying to get the 15,000 spin so that I can get the credit, the hotel credit. So you get a one-night stay hotel credit. And I'm just like, on the one hand, I had got the spin over the 4,000 spin on it, and then I really wasn't using it because I had actually opened up 2 credit cards at one on pretty much back to back. And so I was using the 2 credit cards. And then after that, I started using my American Express Gold card. And so now we're at the end of the year, and I'm just like, dang, I still need, maybe like $3,000 on that credit card to hit the 15,000 spin. But I'm just like, you already know, if I was using that one card only, I would have made it. And so I'm just like, sometimes I do feel like with having so many different credit cards, you're not really getting the points on the back end. You might be getting the points on the front end. So with you having so many credit cards, how do you get enough points on the back end?
Yeah, right now, I definitely consider, like, when those cards, in addition to their sign-up bonuses, they have other little perks, right? So you mentioned this Hilton Surpass. If you spend $15,000 within a calendar year, so January through December, you get a hotel certificate you can spend at any hotel that they have. There's a couple other cards like that. So think like, oh man, I'm blacking out on some of the cards. There's plenty of other cards, right, that have those spending thresholds. I kind of make a list of those. And if they're important to me, and if I have the spend, then I'll definitely consider it. Especially because I don't escrow on my house. So what that means is, no,
interesting. Okay.
So what that means for maybe if you're not a homeowner, what that means is typically when you pay your mortgage, it's putting like money into like a checking or savings account for your homeowner's insurance, for your taxes and things like that. I actually physically pay that myself.
Yeah, but man, you got to make sure it's like, Yeah, I have kind of considered that, but I'm
Mhm.
just like, you really got to be on it.
You
But
got
to
to be
be
on
able to
it.
put that spin, especially if you do it at the end of the year,
Mhm.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's how I'm able to hit like some of those type of thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for other things, right? I have a list, right? A lot of the cards that I have airline credits or dining credits and things like that. I'm not gonna lie, maybe I'm old school. I just keep a spreadsheet and I just make sure I have like 12 tally marks at the end of the year.
Mm.
Some of those things are monthly, some of those are quarterly. Sometimes you can just spend it all at once. I love the PenFed Pathfinder card. It comes with a
Okay.
$100 airline incidental credit. I use that joint probably on January 2nd. As soon as I'm done, getting my mind right after New Year's, I'm using
Mhm.
up those credits right off the rip.
And that Sledge, he really liked that card too, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Let's see
Yep.
who we got in the chat. So
Okay.
we got Latrice Wilson. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. My mom, she said, I carry all of mine daily. That's why my shoulder hurt. All that. I know that's right. And then
Oh,
Latrice said, I carry 2 of my cards every day. I use my American Express Gold card and my
ooh,
Chase Freedom Unlimited.
now
And
that's
I
a good
currently have
pairing.
10 credit cards. So that's pretty good.
That's a good
Uh-oh. Sledge said, you'll be proud of me. I only take 6 credit cards with me out of town now. That is so funny.
You
And
know what's
then,
funny? When we met Sledge in New Orleans, so we met during the creator meetup in New Orleans, what, a couple months ago, 2 months ago?
yep.
Sledge had a wallet that had, no lie, I think it was about this thick. I forget what type of wallet he has, but it had 14 cards in it. So Sledge, I'm proud of you, big dog. 6
Yeah,
cards.
yeah, because he got a lot of credit cards too. So I'm
Yep.
just like, oh my goodness. And so my mom, she said, oh, she was like, she taught me how to utilize credit cards plus increase my credit score. Yes,
She
and then
teaching everybody this
Sledge,
time.
and then Joe. Yes, it's so good to meet them, and I'm so excited about the Puerto Rico meetup because I love me some Puerto Rico. So you already know I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there early.
Okay. Okay. Hear that. I hear that.
Yes, so I want to get into this with you. So with you having 50 credit cards, and then here recently you wanted to close some of your credit cards, and so you either have closed or gonna close 6 credit cards. But
Mhm.
can you tell me now, Key, why would you close a non-annual fee credit card?
Yeah. So I closed at least, I think, 4 no fee annual credit cards
And
this
then
year.
you closed the Discover It.
I did.
How?
I did.
How, Key?
That's a card. Come on. I had 2 Discover It's. I have multiples of a lot of different credit cards. I have a video on how I have multiples of cards. But my second Discover It credit card, I wasn't using it. There's no point in me using it. It doesn't really get me anything after the first
Mhm.
year. And it's a card, like when I think about credit card churning, that's a card you can churn.
Burn
So
and burn.
yeah, churn and burn, right?
Burn and burn.
Turn and burn. Get that cash back match
Yeah,
and
especially first year. I think first year the Discover It is a great card, but I still hold on to mine. I really like it. I did a balance transfer on that card several years ago as well. And so I really like that card. I don't know that I would close it. I want to say, hold on one second. I want to say shout out to Jean. 1984. G, what up, G? I ain't seen you in a while. I hope that you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Um, okay, so you have more than one of the Discover It. Now, especially with annual fees, can you tell me how much did you have in annual fees
Girl,
having over 80 to now 50 credit cards?
we've been only talking for 23 minutes and you hit me with this mega question. Dang. At the middle of this year, I think I was paying close to $4,500 in annual fees, which
Oh
is
my
crazy,
Lord, Kitty,
crazy,
what
crazy.
are you talking about?
Yep.
Over $4,000 in annual fees.
Yeah. So this is where we're at, right? It's a new year, new me. I'm cutting down on cards. I'm definitely going to add some cards back, but I don't think should be spending $4,000 on annual fees. Even though I was able to maximize the rewards, definitely, right? I was very little rewards I was missing out on, like things I can think of. Like I have American Express Business Platinum card that has an Adobe
3.
credit,
You got
and
3 of them.
I got 3 of them. You're right. You're right. But I don't use those credits. You know what I mean? So it's time. It's time that those cards are out.
Okay. Wow. Now, especially, so you talking to somebody that really do not like annual fees. I have probably, and this is high for me. I think now I might be up to 612, but I feel like on my city platinum, it was going to be 100 and they were waiving it for the first year. And so I'm just like, that's kind of high. But then now, you know, with the American Express Gold Card, they going to 325 next year with, you know, because I already paid my 250 for this year. So next year I'll have to pay the 325. If I keep it, we'll have to see. But I'm just like, what would you say is the perk of having the annual fees? What would you say is the perk of that?
Yeah. A lot of the times it's the status, it's the perks that come along with it. Maybe it's late checkout, right? If maybe your flight is not until the afternoon, after you stay somewhere, being able to check out at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock can ultimately save you a lot of money if you don't have to be there till, 5 o'clock or later. Also, just going back, I want to make sure I answer the other question you asked appropriately. You asked why I was canceling cards with no annual fee.
Yes.
As you can imagine, having 50 cards, I have a lot of cards with some of the same banks. One of those banks was Chase, right? I think we're all familiar with Chase.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this year, I had 12 Chase cards.
Ooh.
Now, for me, that was getting a little bit weird, right? I want to keep my relationship with Chase for a really long time. And for me, I can make more by canceling the Amazon Prime card, canceling the United card that doesn't fly out of my airport in Rhode Island, right here.
Okay.
So even though those cards had no annual fee, I'm just trying to reduce my risk with Chase, right? I'm not trying to give them a reason to say, like, hold on. What's this girl doing? Why does she have all these products? Why she got every card we offer? You know what I mean?
Wow. I want to give a shout out to Wendy. What up, Wendy? Sledge bought her here. Thank you so much for joining. Wow. That's very interesting. Wow. Now let me ask you this. So, with you closing those 6 credit cards, you had said something in the live about you were gonna wait until January so that you can still use the perks. Tell us how you can move around that, because I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
Wow. So thank you so much, Tasha. I love that you watch my videos. I love all your videos. So thank you so much. So with the American Express cards, a lot of those come with perks that roll over every calendar year. So every January, you get a fresh set of perks to use. So a lot of these cards, right? I think I probably applied in the November or December timeframe. So what that means is, even if my annual fee hits, let's just say December 20th, I have all the way until January 20th of 2025 to cancel my card and get all my annual fee money back.
Wow. And still use their perks.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
We talking, we cooking.
Exactly.
All right. So look, so you telling me now, I don't know, because see, this is the thing. I want to kind of go back a little bit as to why I feel like I really wasn't using and I didn't meet the 15 spin, because on the one hand, American Express, they made me mad with that Surpass not giving me my point sledge. I'm going to keep on talking about it. And so I was really going to consider closing that card. But then I know Caesar, he had, him and Sledge had talked to me about it. And, that's where Caesar was saying, you could get that credit, the certificate, and then especially being able to use that certificate the one night anywhere, that really might upgrade me a little bit to stay at a really nice hotel, even if it's for one day,
Okay.
And so then now we're at the end of the year. But see, the thing is, my annual fee is going to be due in January. So are you telling me I can get that credit in December, and then as long as I So probably January or February, I could still use the credit and then cancel the Surpass if I wanted to.
Exactly right. So, a couple things, right? You have the Surpass card, which I believe that's like one of the few cards I've never had. But doesn't it come with 3 points on every purchase or more, right? Depending on which.
No, yeah, with it. Now, look, let me
Oh,
tell you.
okay.
I'm gonna tell you this though. That American Express Hilton Honor credit card, I think that is a really good card because you get 6 times the points on dining, 6 times the points on groceries, gas. So to me, with the everyday spending, I feel even though I'm not tied down to one hotel, really I'm tied down to where the points at. If
Yeah.
I'm getting my bonus, then I'm gonna pretty much stay wherever. But I think with getting 6 times the points, I feel like, especially if you're using that one credit card, I believe that you can really rack up the points. So that's why I asked in the beginning, because it's like if you're just trying to, even with me, I'm trying to use all these credit cards. But if I could put all my spend on there, one, I could accumulate a whole lot more points. Two, I would have already had met the 15K spend.
Mhm.
And then, using so many credit cards, I just feel like I'm not really maximizing the credit cards as I should sometimes.
Right. Right. So I agree with you. So with that
Mhm.
annual fee hitting in January, right? If it hits the middle of January, you have until February to decide if you want to cancel it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you shouldn't cancel that card. I would just downgrade it because there's a no fee option,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. Because there's no
So
fee option. Yes. So I definitely might do that. I'm gonna consider it because
yeah.
I'm gonna consider it. But Wendy has a great question. Now
Okay.
this is good because you had 80 cards. So you don't had 80 cards. Have you ever tried to apply for a card and was denied?
Girl, yeah.
Oh,
Oh
okay. I'm
man.
surprised.
Yep. Don't be surprised. I mean, we all get declined sometimes. Amex specifically. So I also had a card. I can't remember which one it was, but I didn't get the sign up bonus for it either. I think it was the Hilton business card. So even
Mhm.
though I did get approved, that's not really what I was going for. So I would ultimately rather I was declined for that card.
That's what I'm
Uh,
saying. That's what I told the man. Like the thing that's just cold blooded. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it
Like
is cold blooded.
let
You're
me
right.
know. If you would have let me know, then I wouldn't have kept the car, or at least I would
Exactly.
have been able to decide on my own will on
Right.
what I wanted. So that's the only thing. But for me,
Right.
I've only technically. Well, I take that back because I was gonna say technically I really haven't been denied for a card.
What?
So I was denied for the IHG
Mm-hmm.
Premier card, but I got reconsidered. But see, the only thing is the reason I feel like I got denied because I had been applying for a lot of credit cards around that time. So I
Mm-hmm.
got reconsidered. And then for City, no, for Capital One. But see, the only thing is I shouldn't have did it, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
So what I did was I said, I'm going to do the pre qualification. So I did the pre qualification, and then they didn't even pre qualify me for a key. But why my crazy self gonna still apply? Because I'm just like, how you ain't gonna deny me? And so then I'm gonna apply for it, and then they denied me, and then they're gonna try to approve me for $3,000 for some other credit card. I'm just like, no, I don't want that credit card, so I didn't get it. But then I got hit with that hard inquiry. So I'm still mad about that because that hard
Dang.
inquiry is still on my credit.
Yeah. Dang. Well, listen, I know you have a twin, but maybe I could be your credit twin because I also regularly keep getting denied for the IHG business credit card. And
Hmm.
again, it was before I canceled the Amazon card and a couple other cards. I think I've canceled 4 Chase cards this year. So it was
Yeah.
before that. So maybe I should try to get that card again. But man, they would not give me that business card.
Yeah. See, that's the only thing about Chase. They be playing sometimes. I'm like Chase. Either because I'm like when I had applied for the IHG, they had technically denied they denied me, and then I did a reconsideration. And then when I was applying for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, they had really denied me, but they reconsidered me without me doing a
Oh,
reconsideration. So they was just like, well, you got 2 other credit cards and you don't really use, low usage. And I'm just like, bro, like, come on, and I'm just like, why do it be so hard? Why do Chase be doing that sometimes?
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And then my Capital One story, I also got declined originally. So this time last year, I applied for the Venture X credit card.
Okay.
And the Venture X business credit card had an elevated bonus. So tell me why I went on. I did the same thing. I did the pre-approval. They said I wasn't pre-approved, but I could get, let me see, what's this card called? I got some other Capital One business card. I think it's the Spark Miles card.
Okay.
Man, tell me that card added to my 524 number for Chase.
Ooh, oh goodness. That's cold.
I got this card on my report. It's 2 miles on everything, every dollar I spend. So it's cool. But I got a Capital One Venture X business. I just got one about a month
What's the annual fee on it?
$395. $395.
Oh Lord. Dang.
So I'm adding, I'm taking away. I'm adding, I'm taking away.
Oh my God, I just don't know. Cause look, my Chase Sapphire Preferred annual fee just came, with the 95, and then I think it was July, right before they had went up to the 325. Because I was kind of going back and forth, but I'm just like, how do you like a card but still hate on it on the same time? Because it's just like, I like the gold card, but I be hating on it on the same hand because I'm just like, I don't know. But see, with some of the credits, I'm glad that I thought of that because I can't let because it's November and I ain't even used my credit yet for the Uber Eats.
Come on, girl, you better use that credit.
No, because see, this is what I do. So I will I got my little thing that I do every month. So I will order me some cheese sticks from not Pizza Hut. What's that other pizza place?
Domino's,
Papa John's.
Okay.
I ordered me some cheese sticks from Papa John and a Coke. And so that's my thing. That's how I use my Uber credit. And then last month, do you know I actually used my not Starbucks, but the Dunkin' Donuts. I actually used my Dunkin' Donuts credit. And what I kind of liked about that credit, it wasn't even the full amount. And it was maybe like $6 or something like that. And I still got, they took the whole thing off. So I like that because even with the $10 Uber credit, on the one hand, why I don't like it is because they make you spend more. To me, it's going to go outside of my spend. And I don't like when they force me to do stuff outside of my spend. So
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. I see a question in here that says from Wendy. Thank you for the question. How do y'all keep up with all your cards? Do you have an answer for that? I'm curious what you do.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. For me, especially in my digital planner, it has a credit card. So I created because I'm just like, on the one hand, I know if somebody steal this idea, nobody has it. No other digital budget planner has this on a budget planner. So mine is credit cards, but then I have, so it's the credit cards. So I have, when is your due date? When is your statement date? And then, so I have all of that because I like to rotate my credit cards so that I know which credit cards I put spend on, especially since 2 of my credit cards had closed due to me not putting spend on it. So that's kind of how I keep track of mine. But then 2, I usually am only probably using like 2 credit cards at a time anyway. So on the one hand, it's still kind of easy, but every month I'll do my budget. And then at the end of the month, I like to reconcile everything. So I'll go through each credit card. But look, one time, for the most part, I think that I'm good. But one time I think it was it was like an auto pay for some group that I was in, and it was a yearly thing. And after I had paid the credit card, maybe like a week or 2 later, it had came on there, and I wasn't using that credit card because that was a city thank you card. And then, don't you know, I was in Walgreens one day, and then they called me up talking about your credit card is late or something like that. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, that was like the only time that had ever happened. But the good thing is, it was still within the month, so it wasn't a late. It wasn't a late payment. It was just late. It didn't go on my credit as a late payment. because I would have been hot, for that. But I was like, dang. But I would say for the most part, for me, especially with the 14 credit cards, I'm pretty much able to keep track. But that's why I wanted to ask you, because I'm just like, dang, having 80 credit cards to 50 credit cards, that seemed like it would be hard to keep track of all that.
Yeah. For me, like I said, I'm only using one or two at most, similar to you, at a time. I'm starting to think maybe for 2025, I may move all of my credit cards to the same due date. So that way it's even easier. I think I can't remember whose video I was watching, but they mentioned that. And I was like,
was that Josh?
I couldn't remember.
Okay, because I think when y'all were talking about,
it could be Lonnie.
What credit card it was. Yeah,
it might have been Lonnie. I feel like Lonnie.
Oh, Lonnie. Okay.
Yeah. So that got me interested in maybe doing that. But right now, I use a free service. It does not connect to your. You don't enter in your credit card information or anything like that. None of your logins. It's called Travel Freely. I've been using it since 2019, and basically all you do, you go onto the site. And I can show it on the screen if anybody wants to see it. But
yeah, can you share your screen?
I think so. Give me 1 second, and I will. Let me just make sure.
While you do that, I'm gonna just let me see. Joe said, well, no, Wendy said I like Chase. I like Chase too, but when they be stingy with the credit limits, and then they want to give you such a hard time, but then they'll approve you.
Right.
I'm just like, why do all of that? Let me see. Joe said, kids adding me as an authorized user for the Capital One Venture X business.
Come on, Joe. You know you my guy. I got you. Wake up, my guy.
Wendy says Sledge hates. Oh yeah, this is Wendy. This is Sledge's wife. This is
okay.
Yeah, Wendy. Yeah.
Wow.
What up,
Wendy?
Let me see. Sledge hate my favorite credit card. My Credit1 credit card. It has no rewards, but they always want to up my credit. Wow.
They've given her credit limit increases.
What's your opinion on that bank? Credit1.
Oh, no. Wendy, you better listen to Sledge on this one. No way. I don't know anything positive about Credit1, but I mean, if they're good to you, that's all that matters, right? People hate on me because I like Capital One. I got 5 Capital One credit cards. So if it's working for you and they're giving you credit line increases and they're not, doing anything shady.
Yeah. Because see, that's what I would say. I don't know. I think it was when you were on with Water Your Soul. What's up, Water Your Soul? And then he was saying that, just because people talk about the American Express or Chase or whatever, it's like ultimately you got to get the credit card that's for you. So it's like, in my opinion, especially if they giving you credit line increases without you asking, and they're, treating you right, I would say, stay with them, because if a bank is treating you right, but, so that's my thing. I don't think that you have to use the credit card how you want to use it. So even if you have a credit card that doesn't have any rewards, I mean, I would say it's okay. I don't judge anybody for how they want to use credit cards, because how it might work in your situation, but it might not work in my situation. But I say, hey, do what you want to do. But especially if they giving you those credit line increases, I would say, yeah, keep them.
Go ahead, Wendy. Go ahead with them credit line increases.
No. Joe said, Credit1 and Sledge voice. That's trash. But that's funny. Let me see.
I got up the Travel Freely. I want to show it while we're still thinking about it. Let me just make sure I can present on here. Okay, I can. Perfect. Okay. Let me know when you can see that.
Yes, let me see. Okay. Do I have to do it? Okay.
No, I don't think so. Hopefully y'all can see my screen. Let her know in the chat if y'all can see real quick. But as you can see real quick, not a promotion. I am so appreciative of being on Tasha's channel, so I'm not even going to do that. But as you can see,
do it.
Been using this since 2019. So this is not something that, and I only started my YouTube channel in January. So been using this for a while. All you have to do when you want to add a new card here is go under My Cards. And what you want to do is click Add Card. Now, I'm just going to name a Capital One credit card because we were just talking about it. Capital One. You find it from the list here. They're always typically here. I'm just going to do the Venture X business because I got that card already. But all you do is select it from the list. You tell this when you opened it. So I'm just going to pick today, and you write down, like typically it has all the bonuses here, and it does this calculation, right? It says I need to do the spending before February of 2025. If this was a elevated bonus, you could go ahead and change this, right, to make it whatever that is. But typically it pretty much knows what the right bonus is. This is pretty intuitive. You can add some other information down here if you want to add notes or you want to add some other stuff in here. I typically don't. I just click Save Changes, and you'll see that this is going to go right to the top. So it says, today I open the Capital and Venture X business card. So super easy. I'm just going to delete that because that's not accurate.
Right. That's pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. And it shows your 524 status. It shows, it estimates when you should get a next card based on a lot of different factors. And then lastly, right, it keeps track of all your annual fees and when those are due. We talked about some of these American Express cards, how I'm probably going to be getting rid of those. And then it only recommends cards that it's likely that you'll be approved for. So if you're over 524, you're not going to see these cards in your listing, right? These chase cards, they're going to completely disappear. If you don't want to see business cards, right? Maybe you don't have a business like Tasha and I. Maybe you just want to see personal cards. These are the cards that it's recommending for me. Again, it wouldn't show these chase cards if I was over 524. So pretty
it's
cool.
that intuitive.
Pretty cool. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. No, that is. Oh no. I think she came out. But wow, I'm going to see if we can put that in the chat because I think that is really, really good to be able to. Oh, there you are.
Oh, girl, I had to X out of my bad.
No, that's not what I was saying was Key. If you can put that in the chat, please do, because I'm just like, that is pretty cool to be able to, put the credit cards in there and then it's telling you all the information. I think that's really cool that it's that intuitive. And then especially if you're thinking about applying for new credit cards and it's already letting you know, girl, you owe your 524, so it's not even gonna put it in there. So I really like that. Let's see. We got a few more chats. So let me see. Joe said, Wendy, I think she can afford us. Yeah, you can afford to. Come on. And then Roger said, I keep getting denied for the Hilton credit card. What should I do? And so usually what I would do, and then Key, you let me know, what do you think? I think I don't know that it matters that it's the Hilton card. The first thing that I would do is I would pull my credit. And I would see what's going on with my credit first, because I would kind of see if that's it. And then even with you taking a look at your credit, you can see with your inquiries, have you been applying for a lot of American Express cards? And maybe they are saying that you can't get approved due to that. But then also, usually when you get denied, they're going to send you an email to say why you got denied. So I would kind of really look to that to see out of the 5 areas of the credit score, maybe what's going on. But then 2, mainly, have I been applying for a lot of credit cards? And maybe that's why they're not going to approve me.
Yeah. Tasha is so intelligent. I love it. That was beautifully said. I think what I would recommend is there's a lot of data points and a lot of rumors that if there's an elevated bonus on some of these cards, meaning like, I think normally that card's like 80,000 points for the no fee Hilton card. So let's just say it goes to 100,000 around the holiday time or something like that. You're actually most likely going to be able to skip around pop-up jail with American Express for that type of card. Another thing I learned from Anthony Venture is you can do, it's called a dummy booking. If you're not familiar with that, go on Hilton.com and pretend you're about to do a hotel stay. Go through, don't pay for the hotel, but at the bottom, it's going to pop up with like a special offer. Sometimes those special offers come with like gift cards or like extra points and things like that. That also may help you. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Would I start with the no fee Hilton card if I didn't have to? I'm not sure that I would. I think I'd go right to the Surpass.
Yeah, get that 175
and downgrade it, to be honest with you.
It had 175 on that one. And so that's pretty good. And then Vincent said, I got the pop-up jail multiple times last year for the no annual fee Hilton honors. And see, that's the thing. I feel like I had got the pop-up jail. Well, I know I had got the pop-up jail. I had got the pop-up not last year, but the year before that. So when I had got the pop-up, I didn't apply because I got the pop-up. You let me know that I had got that I was approved, but they weren't gonna give me the points. So I didn't apply for it. And so I said, and so then when it had 175,000 points a year later, I said, I'm gonna apply again, but I'm gonna make sure that I take a look to see if I get the pop-up again. And so when I didn't get the pop-up, I'm just like, okay, we good. I'm about to get that 170,000, 75,000 bonus points.
Yep.
Girl, I was using that credit card, getting that spin, and then next thing you know, I didn't get it. So I was hot. Ooh, I was mad.
Vincent, I think I've seen you on a couple of my videos. In my description box, I have a link, all my description box, I put my email. I regular get emails from you guys. Thank you so much for those.
That's cool.
I want to help you try and figure out what the issue is that why you're not getting approved. So if you want to email me, let's talk about it. I know it's hard to do on the comments, but happy to help out. Let's figure this thing out. If you truly want to get that card, let's figure it out together.
No, that's cool. And then Roger said JetBlue just gave me an increase of 5,000. Wow, man. Roger, that is amazing.
Love JetBlue. I love JetBlue. I only have like 400 JetBlue miles left in my account. But man, those planes, they got a lot of new airplanes, and they got the TVs and the Wi-Fi. I love JetBlue. So I'm jealous, Roger.
I have never flown JetBlue.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't. Look, I never flown JetBlue. I never flown first class.
Okay.
Business class. Let's see. Latrice said, I love the Travel Freely website. And Key, put it in the chat for the other people if they don't have it.
Okay. It doesn't let me post links. I'm gonna put it in our private chat. And if you want to drop it, it is a referral link. I don't get any money. They usually just send me like a bunch of stickers and stuff. Let me just show you an example of one of the stickers real quick. They send me like stickers and stuff in my phone. Okay. So cool. I appreciate it if anybody wants to help me out.
Yeah. And then Roger said, I want to cancel my American Express green card. Will it hurt me? And so I think that's kind of where we were talking about earlier, because like when you are canceling a credit card, one, I'm going to look to see, does it have an annual fee if I'm not using the card? But then two, I'm going to kind of think about, well, how long have I had this credit card? And if I haven't had the credit card that long, I think I would go ahead and cancel it. But I think ultimately you really have to look at your credit profile and see how long you've had it. And then if your credit score, to me, I would say if your credit score over 740, I wouldn't even be thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? I would close that card so fast.
Yeah, I think I'd also close it too. But I guess, right, we should have a reason why we got these cards in the first place. Like, has your life changed, right? Maybe it makes sense that you're not spending on some of those top categories that card offers. But let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. But everything that Tasha said, if your credit score is over 7 anything, even 680 for me, I'd say anything over 680. I know. I would say consider canceling it. But it's hard to tell. That I hate giving that type of information without knowing your credit profile.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's why the first thing I'm gonna say is pull your credit report to see, because I love pulling my credit report. I love the Experian website because it gives you so much information. They have the credit score ingredient. And the thing is, I just found out on the American Express website, if you go and look at your credit score through the American Express website, they have the score ingredient there. So it's going to tell you how good is your payment history, your credit utilization, your length of credit, your new credit, and your credit mix. And so I like the score ingredient because I want to make sure that my score, stays good.
I agree.
Wendy said, good info. She said, yes, because that's what I'm saying. That website is good. You are too organized for me. But she said, the question is, if you are only using 2 to 3 credit cards a month, Are you using the other credit card? Oh, are the other credit cards at a zero balance? That's an
Oh,
amazing
yeah.
question.
Yeah, good question, Wendy. So yes, I only use 1 or 2 credit cards every single month. All my other cards are at a $0 balance. What I do though, maybe like once a year, sometimes every 6 months, it just truly depends on my vibe. I'm not gonna lie, I go right up to the dollar store and I be loading up on holiday cards, birthday cards, all that. And I bring like 5 cards at a time. I do one transaction on each. And that's how I keep up with putting on a spend on those cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, though, I'm gonna tell you those cards are usually free that I get from the dollar store. Dollar store, the cards are 50 cents, 55 cents, whatever.
Yeah.
Typically, it counts towards your it counts as a spend, but typically credit cards will wipe that charge if it's under $2. So those are typically free birthday cards. So if you getting birthday cards from me, knowing that they're probably free, I'm sorry, but I'm getting my cards right up at the dollar store.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, but I would say for me, even because I have 14 credit cards, and I usually use one or two of my credit cards every month. But I pay my credit cards off every month. I haven't paid interest on a credit card probably 6 years now, maybe a little bit longer. And so, I call it a credit card utilization hack. Now I will let some spend report to the credit bureau, but then I'm going to pay it off in a certain time to where even though I'm reporting the spend, I'm not paying interest on a credit card. Let's see. Points Blank Travel. What up? Said, oh snap. 2 of my favorite content creators. I almost missed this. Let's roll, baby.
Oh, baby.
Let's see. QC Man 2000 said, does US Bank give credit line increases without hard pulls?
I don't know the answer to that, QC Man. The reason why I don't is because I've gotten lucky where US Bank will just periodically just increase my credit limit. I have 3 US Bank credit cards right now. I'm not sure. Do you know, Tasha?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have any credit cards with US Bank.
Okay. I'll have to look that up. I just don't know. Let me write that down.
Okay. We'll have to do something on that. But I recently got a credit line increase. Now it was only it was what, $5,000. So that was still pretty good with American Express with my Surpass. I'm like, they knew they did me wrong earlier in the year, so they gave me a credit line increase. Let's see. Vincent said JetBlue is a great airline, except they have very little services in my neck of the woods.
No. Yeah. Vincent, why you got that card then? Wasn't that Vincent that said he had the JetBlue card?
Let me see. I believe so. No, that was Roger. That was Roger.
Okay. I was gonna say. Yeah. Just so y'all know, every airline in the world has its own Wikipedia page. And what you're able to do, so my home airport is Providence, Rhode Island. So airport code PVD, Papa Victor Delta. What you can do, type in PVD Wikipedia, and it's going to show you under the airlines and destinations what are the most commonly flown airlines out of that airport. If you need a credit card and you feel like an airline credit card's for you, you need to be picking the number 1, 2, or 3 most flown airline out of your airport. Otherwise, you're going to have to make a connection. And I'm not saying that's bad, but why go somewhere if you can go nonstop? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. But listen, Key, I love my I would say I like the Southwest card. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I kind of been thinking about closing it though, because you get the 3,000 points at your anniversary year, but it's like, since I'm using all of these other credit cards, I really don't use my Southwest credit card that much. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like, since I'm using all these other credit cards, especially my Southwest card, that's like on the bottom of my list.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if it's no longer working for you, why are you holding on to it?
Yeah,
they'll drop you like a sack of potatoes. What I mean?
That one got a either 69 or 80. I think it's a $69 annual fee on it. So I'm just like, I don't know. I might have to get rid of that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Wendy said,
"Don't fly first class, Tasha. It can be addictive."
Oh yeah, that's what point. Yeah. See, he's trying to really, because it's like, okay, go ahead and do first class and see. Rod is the one that told me about getting the American Express every day. But really, I think he was talking about the Blue Cash. And then once I had went on to the American Express site and I actually had did the pre-qualification to see which one, I didn't get pre-qualified for that one. So then that's when I had ended up, because see, at first I was just like, Rod, I don't know about no American Express credit card, because I'm just like with the annual fees and stuff. And so I said, well, I'm gonna start small. And so I went with that credit card. But
yeah. I have a question for you, Tasha. When did you first get your first annual fee credit card? Like, what made you do that?
I want to say my first annual fee credit card had to be the Southwest.
Okay.
And it's probably because of the perks. So yeah. But then, because that's what I'm saying, I'm a sign-on bonus. I love to get the credit cards for the sign-on bonuses.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then but then after that, I just wasn't really using the card. And so when I had got the Chase IG Premier card, they had 170,000 points. And you know what? It took me a while to spend 170,000 points.
That, girl.
But then I want to say that one had an $89 annual fee. And probably 2 years ago, I downgraded that one to the Traveler. And so opposed to me just closing it. So I downgraded that card. And
okay. I mean, with Southwest, there's really no reason to keep the card. I know you live in a Southwest dominated airport, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they offer, 2 bags for free anyways. That's usually like the main draw of getting an airline card. So
girl, yeah, see, that's the thing, because with Southwest, I can still get the points and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't know, because you can still be a Rapid Reward member, but you don't have to have a credit card. So
that's true. That's true.
Let me see. Q-Man 2000 said, let's see, since the green card doesn't have an annual fee, I thought that one had a $150 annual fee on it.
There's a classic green card that doesn't have a fee, or it's like $40 or something. I can't remember, but it's basically if you want to keep the credit history. So if that green card is like the only credit card you have, definitely don't cancel it. I would downgrade it to that $45 joint and just ride it out for the remainder of time.
Yeah, because he says since the green card doesn't have no annual fee downgrade path, I'd rather cancel if it doesn't give me any more value.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely would see that. But because I know even Nell with Water Your Soul, he was saying that, because he was just like, especially for the no annual fee cards, he's just not really one to cancel that. I think he was saying that in one of his more recent ones. Well, I think he was just saying he's not one to cancel cards at all. But I'll cancel a card. But on the same hand, I think you really have to take a look at your credit profile to see, because like you said, sometimes things change, with your spend and things like that, to where that card might not be, good for you. But it's just like, if you, especially like me, are really wanting your credit score to be high, then you really want to consider how is it going to impact you. But most of the time, I feel like even if you close it, especially if you have let's say if it's like 3 years or less, I don't think it's gonna impact you too much. You might lose a couple of points, but usually within a month or two, you're gonna get those back.
Big time.
Let's see. Vincent said Anthony Ventures mentioned that he has a classic green with a $50 annual fee and a downgrade option to the platinum gold or green.
Yeah. So that's the card I was talking about. $50 annual fee. My bad. I thought it was $40, but yeah. That's the one.
Wendy said, see, that's why I married Sledge. He says the same thing. And then Points Blank Travel said, Key, I'm thrilled to say I'm finally back home.
My guy. So glad to hear that. I'm so excited to hear that. Points Blank Travel. I've been watching Points Blank since at least 2019. During the pandemic, he had these weekly Facebook lives and he was just dropping all the gems. So I know some of the data is outdated, but if you can go back to those lives in his Facebook group, I highly recommend it, because he is
the best. Points Blank. Let's roll, baby.
Oh, super chat.
Yeah, super chat. And then Peace Be Free said, no, I'm not for sure. And then Q-Man 2000 said, Key, Did you end up getting a sub for the US bar product change?
Okay, I'll break it down. That's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
I did a video where I product changed my US Bank Cash Plus credit card into a US Bank Altitude Reserves. That's the US bar. That card is, I understand, discontinued as of Monday. So yes, when I product changed that card, I did in fact get the sign up bonus. That's not typical for most cards. So if you have any US Bank credit cards, I would say it's time to upgrade to something, right? You can upgrade, downgrade any point in time. Spend the minimum spending, which is $4,000 if you're talking about the US Bank Altitude Reserve, and wait until your next statement closing date. That's all I'll say. But that's unwritten. I'm glad to say it on a live. I'm never going to post that on a real video. So you're welcome, QC man.
Let's see. What up? We got Chad Money Minutes in the building. What up, Chad?
What up,
I gotta
Chad?
have, you know what? Even today, I was thinking, I was like, I gotta have Chad on the channel because Chad and his wife, oh my God, they got so much knowledge. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I wish I had a tape recorder because I would have just listened to that like it was a podcast over and over again. They was just dropping gems on personal finance.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Dream couple.
Let's see. Points Blank Travel said, I flew from Dallas to Little Rock for an hour flight, and I flew first class because I didn't want to sit next to anyone. Okay.
During the pandemic, when the plane was empty, Rod, you could have sat up there anyways.
Oh my goodness.
No, during the pandemic, I flew a couple times. I didn't fly. I think I flew 80 flights this year, but during 2020, I think I flew maybe 13 flights. Yeah, those planes usually they take like 35 to 40 seconds to take off. During the pandemic, those planes were taking off in like 15 seconds because there was nothing on board. There was no luggage. There was no crew. So that was a waste for sure, Rod. That was a big waste. But that's all right. I'm glad.
Now, this is a great question for Wendy. And so, Key, let us know, what is the most perks that you got from a credit card other than an upgrade at a hotel?
Ooh, Wendy. One of my favorite cards is this. You can't do this anymore. But it was called the Crystal Visa Infinite card. And for $450, they were giving you of an annual fee, they were giving you $1,000 of airline incidental credit. Now, Wendy, I know your husband is Sledge, so he doesn't believe in effective annual fees. Neither do I, but they literally were paying you to keep that card. So that's one of the most memorable cards I've ever had, for real.
Yeah, that's what Chad says. He doesn't, agree with that effective annual fee.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. Roger says, question, is Credit Karma and a accurate credit reporting?
Yeah, it's okay. I think when it's combined with other sources, there's like Credit Sesame, there's Experian that you can get for free. There's Innovis, excuse me, getting over a cold. There's Innovis that you can also get for free. But then also, I think isn't it freecreditreport.com or annual credit report, something like that. Yeah, you can get a free credit report. It's not going to give you your score, but really think about like when you're looking at your credit report, the score is like one fraction of that. You're really looking for any inaccurate data. You're looking for misspellings of your name because all of that stuff does factor in to your score. So keep that in mind, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's see. Because how even with most of your credit cards, you can get your credit score, but a lot of time those are going to be your Vantage score. And so I would say sometimes with the Vantage score, it's a little bit higher, than your regular score, but at least it's going to give you information, as to where your credit score, where your credit score is. But then also what I like, especially with the Chase portal, you can actually pull your credit report, your full credit report from the portal, and you don't even have to go to Experian site or even the annual credit reporting site.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. And I posted the freely travel freely credit. Let's see. Point Blank Travel said the plane was full.
Oh, okay. During
And
the
then,
pandemic, you had full planes. So that first class flight might not have been,
yeah,
too bad then. If it was
might not
full,
been too bad.
you
And
could
then
have always
Chad
been in
said, "What up,
33B.
Wendy?" And then Q Man said, "Crystals, the burger joint like White Castle."
I don't know
And
what that
then
means.
Q Man 2000 said, "Yep, annual credit report tells the soft pulls that companies do. Yes, it does. And so that's what I like. When you pull your whole credit report, you'll be able to see the soft pulls and the hard pulls.
Right. Exactly right.
And then Points Blank Travel said, "Wow, Wendy, nice to meet you virtually. Sledge is one of my favorite content creators. Sledge and Chad are the kings of keeping it real. I don't think it can get more real than Sledge and Chad."
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Big time. They just say what's on their heart, and I
They
love it.
say it. They
You
say
know
it with
what?
their chest.
Joe too. Joe
Oh yeah,
Beretta
Joe
is
too.
another
Yeah,
one.
Joe too.
Another one.
Yes, Joe is amazing. Yeah, it was so nice to meet everybody at the creator meetup. I really enjoyed myself. That was really good, especially going gambling, and that was really good. Let's
Yeah.
see. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Well, let me ask you this, especially because I'm definitely a fan of budgeting, and with you having all of these credit cards, would you say that you are a budgeter, or how do you, manage that?
Yeah, what a good question. I'm working on a video right now because one of the books I read probably every single year is a book called The Automatic Millionaire. And one of the crucial points of that is knowing your budget, but also setting things up automatic. So it takes it like out of your brain, out of sight, out of mind. So I don't really budget like what hits my bank account because I've already taken out like my investments, my health insurance, and I already have like certain things in place. So by the time the money hits my account, like I could just spend that because I know that I'm setting myself up for the future. But that's just how I do it. Maybe I should reconsider that though. Tell me more about your budget planner, Tasha. Where can is that something I can get or you can?
Yeah. I'm actually I have my 2025 that I'm about to post. And so I have it on my majorchange.com site.
Okay.
So yeah, that's definitely. And so really, I think that it's great to do a budget. So for me, at the beginning of the month, I'll do my budget, and then at the end, I like to reconcile everything, and then to see what is what. But it has a calendar, it has notes, it has your budget, it has, let's say if you want to do a debt snowball, it has a savings part in there. And then that's what I was saying, one of my favorite parts of the budget is with the credit card. So you'll be able to put your credit card, your statement date, your due date, and I really like that so that I can just keep track of rotating my spend and things like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. Wendy said, "Key, what card was that? Why is it no longer around? How long? Let me see. How long has it been in the game? How long have you been in the game with credit cards?"
Yeah, so I got my first credit card in 2012, but I really started I'll say the credit card game in like 2016. That's when I really started accelerating and getting all these cards. The card I was talking about specifically was the City National Bank Visa Infinite Credit Card. That card it still exists today, but over time, right? I think more and more people found out you could spend 450 to get 1,000, and that's not sustainable. These banks don't want people profiting off of them at the end of the day, right? They're making money every time you swipe it, but they're also hoping you pay interest. So they don't have that card. It's not as good. Like they have it, but it's not as good as it used to be. I'll tell you that.
Now, let me ask you this, because I think this is a B part of her question, and I think this is a really good question. She says, "I'm actually scared of credit, especially you have had up to 80 credit cards, and now you're down to 50." And then she's stating that she has one credit card, if I had read that correctly, and it doesn't even have any rewards on it. And she's stating that she's kind of scared of credit. What would you say to somebody in regards to either building their credit or that's kind of scared and they're kind of wanting to get into the credit card game, but they just don't know what to do? What would you say?
What a good question. For me, everybody is going to spend money. If you're telling me you don't spend money, you're flat out lying to me. So why not get at least 1 or 2% cash back on money you're going to spend anyway? I'm not talking about, buying whatever and never paying it off. I'm talking about going to get groceries, going to the concert, going to whatever and paying it off, right? And for me, if you're scared of that, why don't you make the purchase, right? Say you make a purchase today, pay that joint off on Friday or pay that joint off every Friday just to build those good habits. You don't even have to set up auto pay. If you have just one card, right? Just pay that joint off every couple days, every time you use it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like, man, I couldn't have said that better. Like, that is really good because I think the overall thing to me with credit, I feel like if you use credit the right way, with one, for me, I think is doing a budget to know how much do I have to spend, but then also using my credit cards, but then paying my credit cards off. That's the best thing because I know for me, I want to say in 2020, was it 2023? With using my credit card just on my natural spending. So I would say for the most part, probably 90 to 95% of my spend is on credit cards. But I pay the credit card off every month. Now, see, the thing is, with me using my credit card on all my spend, I want to say in 2023, I was able to do I believe it was a 4-night stay in Puerto Rico. And I was at a pretty nice hotel. I had stayed at 2 different hotels.
Ooh.
And I want to say the trip ended up probably being like $3,000. But I used my points and my cash back. And I only spent probably $300 of my own money. And the only reason that happened is because I was really on another trip and then that trip wasn't going right. And so I was like, I got all my points. I ain't going home since I had requested all this time off from work. I'm about to go to Puerto Rico. So it was like, since I wasn't able to book it in how I would normally book a trip, I probably would have been able to do it a lot better. But that's why I say, just like you're saying, to be able to, get 3 times the 3 times the points or 6 times the points, sometimes I think it's really to where maybe, let's say if you not, and I know not Wendy, but I'm just saying overall for somebody using a credit card, let's say maybe you don't have a lot of money for trips and stuff like that. By me using my credit card for all my spend, that was like my one trip. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so if you do that every year, then you can go on a 1 or 2 trips, depending on, if you're like me, if you're not like me to where you're trying to spend on so many credit cards, if you're spending maybe on one credit card, you might be able to maximize that a little bit more, or maybe you're doing it for cash back. You see what I'm saying? And so you can use that cash back for savings or investing or anything like that. So, I think that is good because she says debt is crazy to me. But see, the thing is, and just like you're saying, I pay my credit card off every month. So for the past probably 6 years, maybe 7, I haven't had any credit card debt.
Right.
But before then, I had my fair share of credit card debt. So I will say. But I think once you really understand your finances and then, kind of want to do it right in a sense, because it's just like, I've had credit card debt and I paid it off. And I've had credit card debt again and I paid it off. And then it was just like the last time I'm just like, I'm not doing that anymore. It's no reason for me. And now, especially with interest being 26% and stuff like that, like you're really robbing yourself paying interest on credit cards.
Big time. And I think, I don't know, I didn't grow up with talking about credit cards and that type of thing. And money was definitely like just something my family didn't talk about. I didn't know until a long time that credit cards doesn't equal debt. I think that's like somewhere that was ingrained in my mind. And maybe that's in other people's minds too. I don't know how people grew up, but it doesn't have to be that because that was your family story or because somebody you knew. Yeah. If you use some of the habits and some of the tools, right? You talked about the budgeting tool and just setting up auto pay. In my opinion, I set up auto pay or just pay every Friday or pay every time you swipe it, right? Just by starting off small. Maybe you just use it for the gas station and you go home and pay it. Use that joint just like it's a debit card. Don't allow yourself to, buy a $3,000 laptop just because you have a credit card. You know what I mean? Like,
unless you try and get that minimum spend, but you're gonna pay it off,
yeah. You got to pay it off though on Friday. So no, if you don't got money today, you can't spend money for Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yes, tell them, Key. Yeah, because that's what I'm like, but I definitely see it. But I'll tell you really what changed my mindset is when I did because I really like Dave Ramsey. I love Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
Now I don't necessarily agree with everything, but once I had did that, I was just like, man, I understand it. So once I had cut, like before, I've cut up all the credit cards, and then I was just using my, I was trying to do cash. Then I had did my debit card for a while because I was just trying to figure out for myself what would really work. But then it was just like once I had really honed in to, my spending and not creating credit card debt, it's just like I was like, you know what? I think I can start using credit cards again. And so then I just started using credit cards again. And then since then, I haven't paid interest on a credit card.
Dang. Okay. I feel that.
Yep. All right. Well, Key, man, I really appreciate you coming on the channel. I'm definitely gonna have you on the channel again. But before you go, and I'm gonna put your channel in the chat. So while I'm doing that, just tell us about some things that you got going on and about your channel.
Yeah, definitely. So, Tasha, thank you so much for having me on. My name's Key. I run the YouTube channel called Kiki Adventures. I talked about, today, my journey of having over 80 credit cards. That's part one of the journey. Part two of the journey for me is spending those rewards points and the rewards that I get on those cards. To date, I've spent close to 7 million credit card points and miles on some really memorable trips. So my channel is all about the mistakes I've made so you don't have to make them, my travel journey, my travel goals. And honestly, right now, I'm going on a major cleanse of my credit portfolio. So that's why I wanted to chat today. I see the title's called 3 Considerations You Should Know as You're Thinking About Canceling Your Credit Cards. And I think I'll just give 3 quick things. One is make sure you're not canceling a card if your credit score is not over, like I said, 680, but Tasha says even 720, right? So in that range or higher, maybe, you shouldn't be canceling credit cards. Maybe you should consider cards that have downgrade paths, meaning cards that have an annual fee, but you can move them to a $0 annual fee or very close to $0 annual fee. Item 2 is if you are going to cancel a credit card, consider, like if you have another card with the same bank, like say you have 2 Chase cards, for example, what you can do is call Chase before you cancel it. And you can either ask for a retention offer. That's where they may give you a bonus to say, hey, we want you to stay. We want you to be our customer. I've gotten so many annual fees waived just by, considering canceling cards that, it may make sense. If they're going to pay you to keep it, go ahead and keep it for another year. And then item 3, if after you exhaust those 2 options is, if you do want to cancel that card, I'm using my Chase example one more time. If you have 2 Chase credit cards, try to ask them if they can move the credit limit on the card you're canceling to the card you're keeping. So that way you're not going to affect your credit score in a long-term way by affecting like your utilization or anything like that. Bonus one, I'm going to give a bonus, is that if you cancel a card today, it's not going to technically fall off your report, I think, until 7 years after the fact.
Yeah.
So as long as you plan on, getting more cars, getting more loans, getting more houses, getting more whatever that runs your credit and being responsible with that, you got nothing to worry about. Those are the considerations that I have. And Tasha, I'm so appreciative. I hope that I can come back on your channel.
Of course.
And thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for joining, y'all. I just appreciate y'all so much for joining the chat. I want to say shout out to Rod from Points Blank Travel. I want to shout out my mom. Thanks for being on here. Like, she was a trooper. She stayed on here the whole time. Oh my goodness.
They're late.
Yes. I want to shout out to Wendy. It was such a pleasure meeting you in September. And thank you so much for joining the chat. I want to say a shout out to Q-Man 2000, Latrice. Let's see, Chad, Sledge, Roger. Who else did we have? Let's see, Vincent. Thank you so much for joining as well. I want to shout out to let's see who else. We had quite a bit of people, coming,
We had
through. So
Gene 1980,
yes,
1984.
yes. Thank you so much. Because I'm like, where he been? I haven't seen him on here for a minute. So G, thank you so much for joining. But I appreciate everybody. And drop down in the chat if you want that travel freely. Because I think that that's a pretty good thing to have, to be able to keep track of the credit cards and all the information that they have. So I hope that y'all have a great night and see you in the next video.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.